All right. Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining this roundtable today. We are here to unpack the findings of the Stanford HAI, Human-Centered AI's report on some of the top AI platforms that routinely use our chat inputs for training and often with very limited transparency. So when we are sharing some, about our mental health or intimate work conversations, all these, how are these conversations, how is this data being used, where is it being stored, how is it being used for training of these models? That's what we are here to discuss and find out and unpack this report. Over to you, Yuvika.
Yeah, so we are going to make this as interactive as possible. So the plan is to eventually have you folks, have individual discussions around certain topics. But before we do that, we'll get you started with some warm-up questions. But before we even dive into the warm-up questions, as Padmini said, right, that there are a lot of things that we put into these chatbots, and we don't realize, right? So um, we want you to think about some things that you may not have already thought about. Like, for example, chatbots have a tendency of simulating empathy, right? But one of the key lacking thing is that they don't have experience, right? Like they are not like humans, but they can emulate that kind of stuff. And conversations are often stored and maybe used for training or profiling. So not sure if you had a chance to take a look at the paper that Padmini has posted, right? In the post a couple of weeks ago when we were making the announcement. And we'll actually show you that and you'll be shocked that your information is stored and sometimes indefinitely. So it can be quite concerning. And you will be shocked to hear that sometimes even data that your children may be entering, and that also gets used for training these models without you even knowing. And there are blurry boundaries between the support, surveillance, and influence. And all these things raises a lot of questions around privacy, consent, and emotional reliance and data ethics. Because uh, I don't know about you, but we know some people who are using these chatbots as therapists and advisors. And while yes, once in a while it's okay. And I know getting a therapist is expensive, and people say that, oh, it does the job, but you need to be careful, like what you're putting in, because you don't know when it can backfire. So I think with that, we'll start with some warm-up questions. We'd love to have some folks tell us, have you ever shared something with a chatbot that you wouldn't tell a person?
I mean, show of hands.
Yeah, why not?
So let me, so there was, this was from, I guess, 2023, I want to say. Um, I was trying to figure out how to have a difficult conversation, right? So when we, yeah,
Trust.
no trust, Shri, but I was like, I want to have this conversation. I gave the context and I want to say something without hurting someone. How do I say it? So I gave the context. And it was nothing big, but like in relatives, you have to be so careful. You don't want to offend. You are
Especially with
stuck with
Indian
them.
relatives, we have a lot of drama.
So I remember without putting names, um, I wanted to find out how to best word something. So I have done that, but without putting names, anonymizing it. So I've done
My
that.
son has used it too without me knowing. And then once I found out that he used it, he basically wanted to argue, with his dad. You know how with children are, they fall flat in front of their parents. And my son actually used ChatGPT to come up with an argument. And of course, like his dad was, once like, my son, but he put in some information, right? Like where, of course, like chatbot didn't even ask, like it's a, small boy who's using it. But we've had a personal, incident as well where, somebody put in something personal.
So personally, I use it now with limited like data, but I think about um, a lab exam like the result I've got from the lab. Okay, I did. And I just asked a couple of questions regarding the result I had. So this is, without maybe saying a lot of things about it, just to have more knowledge about what I discussed with the doctor and to have myself, a better understanding about the results. So maybe that is one of the things I use GPT to, just to have more insight about what the lab said, the lab result I had with the doctor.
That's a great point, Sandrine. Right before coming here, I was just at an event. It was actually at a law firm, and they were talking about how AI solutions are being used to develop women health products. And there were a bunch of like AI startups who are developing health products. And one of the questions was that people were talking about that how people are using these tools to dive more into their health records and some of the results that come in, but people use it so innocently without even knowing, right? Like how much personal information they're punting into these chatbots, right? Like they'll be putting their personal details. Alan, you have a hand up. You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just going to give my recent experience. I was traveling. I was doing some international travel, and I usually use the chatbot like ChatGPT for just advanced Google search. I'm usually pretty cognizant about what I put in there. But I was asking it about alternatives to mapping apps like Waze or Google Maps. I was looking for something that's a little more privacy secure. So I was just asking, what are some secure maps? And they're like, oh, we see that you're international and you're in this country. So this is what we recommend. And it didn't even occur to me that your location is something that it's also collecting. And I know your location is not, it's easily accessible all the time, but for the chatbot, it didn't occur to me. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And based on what like Uvika said about a child talking to a chatbot, legally, children don't need to give consent, right? Because under the age of 18, there's no consent required. Oh, sorry, Ziba, I didn't see your hand up.
No, please continue.
Yeah. So what happens when a child talks? Because there's no consent required, whether you can train on the data, collect the data, store the data. So there is a huge gap there where like Anthropic has said that only children above the age of 18 should be using their models like Claude. But I think for ChatGPT, Uvika, you and I found out, right? It was 13 was the
when
age.
we were doing our summer
Yeah,
camp.
yeah. So it is 13 is the age to use these. And we know for a fact that children much younger than 13 are using
Oh,
it.
they are.
Yeah.
11,
So,
10.
yeah. So Zeba, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share an experience that when I was like looking for jobs, one thing I unknowingly did, which I later realized that I was not right, was to like just upload my PDF of a resume, which had my phone number, which had my email ID and my location and all those things. At that time, it didn't strike me that this is an information I should not be sharing. And later on, I realized that, oh, this is a mistake on my part. I should have not done those.
Yeah,
Even if I've like opted out of things, that's something I should just avoid doing that. So that was a
yeah.
thing that I realized later in the process.
And there is, at least in ChatGPT, there's something called temporary chat in the top right,
Yeah.
So that is something maybe, even though we use temporary chat, even though we explicitly opt out, they still retain data
Retain it. Yeah.
for 30 days, at least, because it's not training on the data, but they're retaining it for memory, So
I don't believe the 30 days anyway. I think they can tell you that, and I just don't believe it.
True. And the we found out that Google and OpenAI, they actually, for some of our chats, they have human reviewers. So a human at Google, at OpenAI, can actually read our chats. And if we have given our telephone number, our email address, our location, I mean, it's so easy to even find us on LinkedIn and know who is this person who's having these kind of conversations. So
I just posted a table from the Stanford study, and you can actually take a look at the data privacy practice across the six mega players like Amazon, Anthropic, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI. And you can see, right, like how your chat input is used for training by default, where the chat data is retained indefinitely, OpenAI and Meta, and how what allows for accounts for children 13 to 18, right? So as Padmini said, Anthropic is like a no-no, like for 18 and above only. And but Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, they allow kids, 13 and to 18, but sometimes even under, right? So there's no control. Mika, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Also want to share one experience. My daughter is 10 years old and she wanted a pet. So he asked to ChatGPT that how to convince my dad to buy a pet. So
So
they are
cute.
innocent, but yeah,
Oh,
it happens.
it's
Yeah.
nice. Anybody else who wants to share?
So can I share the not the personal side, but even if you're using like the commercial API, one thing I've been noticing last few months that we've been integrating with Charlie's RAG models is that these the if you're uploading like documents and things like that, I think they have been training with that. And the reason I say that is because you see that the Copilot and Gemini and OpenAI, they're constantly coming out with new use cases, new markets that they're going into. And my question is, a couple of years back, you didn't have that data. So how is it that you're ready with the use cases now? And this is killing a lot of startups, especially if you're only a wrapper around
Yeah.
any of these LLMs. Literally, one of the CEOs, I won't name, but one of the CEOs came out and said, if you're a wrapper around me, you are dead.
Exactly.
Uh,
I mean, it's blunt, but it's true.
it's true.
My question is, how are you in those use cases? Because those data sources or that data was never public. And the only way you could have gotten it is from people using commercial APIs and uploading that data. So there's no way you're not storing it. And you
Yeah.
just, I mean, it's hard. It's harder not to use it in the commercial sense for a lot of people because you want speed, you want agility, you want to be up for the competition. But literally, I faced this at Charlie where one of my customers, came back saying, Copilot can do this. And that's when I questioned, I said, how is it able to do that? Like 2 years ago, it did not have this data. It just cannot have this data because this is it's an insurance document. It's not publicly available. So how are you doing this use case now?
I
And
know
that's
that's
when it struck me that I think they are, excuse me, I think they are training.
They are training, and then the other thing also comes, right? That oftentimes people don't check, right? Or they don't ask these hard questions like, are you going to be training on my data, right? And they'll say that, oh, we're not going to train. And then things are hidden in fine print. Like, how many of us actually read, those fine print statements? We
No, Uvika, my
clicks.
CTOs are already read. That's why we use Gemini. We don't use OpenAI in the background. But even with that, I definitely think that
100%. They have it and they
they're
use it.
not
And yeah.
disclosing.
And even exactly. And I think that's where they eventually, like, they're going to be, when somebody says, like, I want to audit, right? That's when, things are actually going to come to light. And we're not too far away from that. And so even with the OpenAI case, right, where they said to enterprise clients that we don't have access to any of the data, it's not going to be used, it's not retained. But then when they got sued by the famous like New York Times,
yeah.
then the judge ordered, right, that none of the stuff, it has to be accessible and you have to save it. And then like all these enterprise clients are scrambling because they were like, this, it's supposed to be for them, everything should be deleted, it should not be shared with anybody. So even when you have contracts in place, those contracts basically fall apart, right? Especially when the mandate comes from the judicial system. I see whose hand was up for Zeba?
Z-
Zeba.
I just wanted to share that they are being so smart about this that they're not using or storing our data, because when I realized that I did this, I sort of asked GPT, like, what do you know about me? Do you know my phone number? Do you know my email? And it was so smart. And it was like, no, we don't store such data. I don't have anything of yours. And when I again tried to reproduce my resume or something, it reproduced all the information for me.
Yeah, there is
And I'm like,
this, yeah,
what
It
they
is.
know when they are being evaluated. So I remember doing a
Yeah.
post on it like a couple of months ago, that they're very smart, right? It's just like the way they have been, it has been programmed and etc. But yeah, don't believe, you know, what it makes you believe. So Alan, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I think Supriya just 1 second, Alan. I think
Yeah, go
Supriya
ahead.
wanted to say.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand
That's
using
okay.
It's at the bottom. That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think it's one of the points that Sri Ramaswamy mentioned, that like how are they even getting these kind of data and all of that, right? They do a lot of web scraping. They do a lot of they do collect data, or like create synthetic data, or based out of the real data. They make it in such a way that they can train the model efficiently and learn those things. So I just wanted to mention that, like, they've been doing it, and we ourselves, we have some chatbot, we have some AI application that I have built. We create a lot of synthetic data to train on from the actual data. So that's something to note. Yes, we right now, like usage of ChatGPT, Claude, OpenAI, and all of that has been increasing a lot compared to before. But before even they had our data, they had a lot more data that they trained on, so that they are able to help us. So I just wanted to put that out.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Supriya.
But
Alan?
sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Alan.
No. She wanted to respond. Go ahead.
Please
Okay,
respond,
Alan.
and then I'll share my thought. Please finish, and I can share.
I know, I was just going to say there are many regulated industries where there's no way on earth they could have gotten the data. The data is not publicly available. So my question is, how did you get these use cases?
Was it sold? Yeah. So
Yeah.
How did you get these use cases unless, you made people use it and pay for
Right.
it and
Yeah.
claim that this was commercial? And I think you definitely have used it, because there's no way now you're giving me all these use cases without training.
Right. And she is the founder of Charlie.ai, which is which is in the insurance space. So that's regulated, and yeah, I just wanted to
Your
go ahead, Alan.
hunch is right, Shri. There is going to be a lot of skeletons that are going to come out of the closet at some
Yeah.
point in time. Go ahead,
Or maybe
Alan.
not. Maybe the
I-
skeletons are bought.
That is also true. There's a lot of power and money at stake.
I was just having a thought, that's all, during this whole conversation. So you were saying you work in a regulated space. I work for the federal government, US government, and when we set up our chatbots and do all this stuff, we do it in environments. They're called, I don't know if you all are familiar, FedRAMP certified. It just means that it's cloud, it's separated, it passes all these checks that the data is not retained by the cloud provider, it's the government's, and we've gone through all of that. Set up chatbots. The thought I was having during this whole conversation is that small, medium-sized businesses, I don't think they have the capacity to go through and set up environments like that. It's costly, it takes a lot of time, requires a lot of expertise. But that's enlightening to me, Sri, that even that in a regulated industry where the data is not supposed to be leaving, it still appears to be happening. That's something
Concerning.
I'll bring up
we have
when I get back to work.
I mean,
yeah.
what we have to do when we use Gemini in the backend is, because of this, we actually scrape some of the PII data, but there's only so much you can do with certain types of data, like if you're using it for forms and things like that, there's no way you're going to scrape all that because you need all that data. And that's when we realized that even though we have the kind of licensing agreement we have, the one that we purchased from Gemini, we've been very careful with that. And even after all those things, when the customer told me that, hey, we're going to start using Copilot because Copilot came back and they were able to do this. And the worst part is Copilot is part of Microsoft and they have way more distribution than I can afford, from a startup perspective. So that's where it struck to me that, as a startup, you are now challenged irrespective of which industry you're in. You're actually not competing with your actual competitors. You're competing with the Microsofts and the Googles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially, yeah, because they are like the big shark eating those little fish who are, and things like Google, Amazon, the data that they collect from our chats are also shared across, like, when it's shared across, like on, when you buy something on Amazon. So you may, in your chat, you may talk about some health issue or blood pressure, and soon you will have like a BP medication showing up in the ads elsewhere. And these chats provide so much more context than if we fill out a form our chat GPT pre LLMs. We filled out a form, that data was taken, our name, whatever, that was that data that we entered. But now with the chat, we have so much more context, right? So there is so much more that goes along with the data. So that's pretty concerning. But I don't know, Uvika, do you want to do the the breakout rooms, couple
Yeah, I
breakout
think we
rooms?
should do that. So let me see. So let me actually see how many groups is it going to break out in. So let's see. We have 3.
Yeah, we'll have 3 and 4.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let me put so we'll have 3 groups. For each group, we would love for one person to be the designated person who's facilitating the conversations. We have 3 to 4 questions for each of the group. So we want you to answer those questions, right? Have a discussion and take notes. And after maybe 15-20 minutes, we'll all come back and we'll discuss with everybody. So you can share the learnings and findings from your group with the rest of us, right? So it'll be an opportunity for all of us to learn from each other. So let me paste the questions and then I'll do the breakout rooms. 1 second. And I believe even when you go to the your
chat is
breakout,
accessible.
yeah, the chat is accessible. So don't worry, don't get stressed. All right. And the breakout. It's okay.
I think we'll do group 1 and 2, and group 3 I think you put 3 groups, right?
Okay, so I'll do assign automatically. I'll create 3 breakout rooms, huh, Padmini?
No, create 2 and we can use group 1 and group 2, ignore group 3, because in the
Okay,
chat
fine.
you put group 3, yeah.
Oh, so just to create 2 breakout rooms, nah? Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Great. Okay, so oh, okay, cool. Okay, so which one are we going to?
So which, I closed it. You can.
I think you are supposed to go to 1 and
Okay.
I'll go to 2 then.
Okay.
So then we'll just do 1 in first room.
So 1 second. So do you, so yeah, we can do that and then we can come back here with the group, right? All right.
Yeah. So group, which one is second? I have to even look at the thing. Okay, emotional dependence and human connection. Okay, bye.
Okay, let's.
Bye.
I have to.
Does Hello.
Hello. So we are group 2. Okay. So who's going to be the designated facilitator and who's going to be the note taker?
I can be the facilitator if you want.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Supriya.
Be
And
the note taker.
amazing. All right, go ahead, Supriya.
Great. So I just wanted to have like a few seconds of for each person to introduce ourselves so that we set the ground and then we start with the questions, if that's okay with you guys. Awesome. So I'm gonna go first. So I'm Supriya. I'm based out of Bay Area. I build AI applications every day in and day out for my company. So I have put two of them into production. One of them is a chatbot. The other one is process automation app. So it's been going great. This particular event excited me because I've been thinking about the privacy and data ownership and all of that for some time. Because when I was working with LLMs and also like outside, like not building with the chatbots, I felt scared to some degree. So I just wanted to, understand all of you guys, what you guys' thoughts are. So yeah. I'll leave it up to you guys now.
Thanks,
Seba.
Sophia. It's great.
Thank you. I can go next in my introduction. I'm a software engineer at Dell Technologies. I recently joined Dell 2 months ago. I've been part of AWAAI for a year and my first roundtable. And the thing that excited me most about this whole conversation was the way I'm seeing the fast paced this thing is moving forward and how there are like, as they say, AI mafias who are like controlling the whole industry, who are like controlling your data and everything. And I think it scares me to an extent because I remember I was talking to some cab driver and he was telling me that his wife went through a very personal experience, and when he learned that I'm an AI engineer, he sort of like, oh, like my wife loves ChatGPT. She talks to it all the time and it helped her immensely in just like getting over the grief and everything. And the one thing I told him is like, your wife is very lucky that she had a positive experience from this. And while I do not encourage this thing, I still sort of tell you to go to a professional therapist. I'm glad she had a positive experience because I think I recently read about someone who like committed suicide and things can go south very easily with AI. And to go so personally intimate with AI, I'm very careful about those things, but not many people are. And I think what we can do, what we can have is discussions and empower other people who we talk to and how we can do that. And it just starts with a conversation, I feel.
Thanks, Seva. Who wants to go next? Divisha?
Hello, hi everyone. So sorry for not turning on my camera. My camera is not working in my
That's
machine.
okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, so my name is Divisha. I'm currently working as a data scientist in Rockwell, Maryland. And I completed my master's in information system from UMD College Park. So me and Zeba, yeah, we both we were in the same course. So I've been seeing a lot of inspiring posts from Zeba, to be honest, and which really sparked my curiosity. So I'm fairly new to the AI journey, and this is my first roundtable, and I'm really excited to connect, learn, and grow alongside such talented individuals, and amazing community in women especially. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah,
Sandrine?
it's me now. I did not even know that I was muted. So good evening, everyone. My name is Sandrine. I'm a data analyst transitioning from a Tableau developer role. And I've known Uvika and Padmini from the AI leadership like community where we're working. And
I don't know. Is it me or Sandrine? We're having a hard time hearing you.
Yes.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, let me just turn off my camera. Sometime it that. Okay. So is that better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying that I knew that Padmini and Uvika, we are both like we are three part of another community, AI leadership. And when they started this new like community, I just wanted to come and support as well and learn along the way too. Because for me, AI, we know all that there is the bad, maybe the scary part of AI about privacy and trust. But we have to know as well that there's the good part as well, because we have so many problems, the community problem, that we need to maybe use AI to solve those problems. So is that part of building like solutions that's going to help communities. So this is why I want to learn more to be able to see how I can come and build something going to help people. So this is why I'm still learning and trying new things until I'm going to be good at that and create more solutions. So.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sandrine. It's so nice to have you, joining and also sharing your learnings, because what makes it amazing is the diverse perspective, right? So you bring a very different angle, right, from your community and what you have seen. So thank you so much. And I'll keep it very short. I believe I know some of you. So my name is Uvika. I run a consulting organization. I work with a lot of companies on advising them on how to adopt AI responsibly so that they don't end up in the news for the wrong reason. And I also co-founded AWAAI with Padmini last year, and today is our 1 year anniversary. Yeah, I also teach founders at Cornell Tech about responsible AI. So a lot of different hats, but let's dive into the discussion. So with that, Supriya, why don't you kick off? We are group number 2. So we are going to be focusing on a discussion around emotional dependence and human connection.
Yeah, I think that's a actually good concept to discuss
Yes.
about. Yeah. So the first question that we have is, what happens when people replace human connection with AI conversations? I think one of the first things Zeba mentioned was somebody had a very good connection with, human, like the chatbot, and to go with the griefing. So um, like do you want to start about that, or anybody else have a different perspective? Feel free to chime in.
Go ahead, Zeba. I know you unmuted.
I can kick it off. So I think something small that Yuvika and Padmini mentioned was it emulates the concept of empathy. It doesn't have empathy. And that's something, it's so fundamental that we sometimes miss that thing because it talks so nicely to us. It talks so sweet to us. And when GPT-5, GPT-4 came, I think when they integrated all the models and in the middle, there was a time where it was very buttering you in how the conversation was going. Everything you do is like great for AI, for OpenAI, like ChatGPT. And it shows that it can switch up the emotions mathematically. And that's something we often forget while talking with AI. And I think I know it seems like a constant thing that we can reach out to, we can talk to anytime we want. The accessibility is very easy, which with humans, obviously, we suffer. We always have busy schedules. It's tough to connect and have a time to talk with people. But I think you have to be very mindful when you interact with someone emotionally. I never do it, but I know many people do. And I always advise them to be very mindful of that because you can be very, very codependent on something which can control your data in a very wrong manner. Like it can know about what you're going through mentally. And it's a very scary thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. One of the things that you mentioned was the accessibility, right? And the other point that you previously mentioned was that person was a cab driver, and his wife had the access to it, and she accessed it easily. The point is, not everybody has, the money and resources to go to a therapist. Sometimes they might even be ashamed of it. So that's where, this chatbot is filling the gap between that. But my thoughts on this is like, how do we find an alternative solution? Is there a better way? That's something that we need to think about as well. But with this thought, let's go and see like what others have got. Sandrine or Divisha, do you guys want to say something?
Yes, for me, I think we need to balance, right? I know, okay, sometimes it's good. It depends on the personalities as well. Okay, maybe for someone who's introvert, it's going to be easy for that person to go to GPT and to ask some questions. But for an extrovert, it's going to be easy for him to go out and to connect with other people. Okay. But in everything, we need to balance and to know as well that the model can hallucinate as well. So you cannot replace the model with the presence or the physical presence of someone. So if we know that limit, okay, I can use the model for some maybe some stuff, but I still need someone I can talk to, someone who can understand my cultural background, can understand who I am, where I'm coming from, who can give me maybe an output that I cannot get from the model. So all those things are very important for us because the human, the social presence in our life, it's important even for our well-being, our wellness. So as soon as we know that border is going to help us to balance between two, is what I can say.
That's great. I think you made one of the points, is that the culture and the background.
Mhm,
To be fair, like not all chatbots or LLM know who we are and where we come
mhm,
from.
mhm,
That doesn't even know that I'm an Indian. I like jalebi, right? It's just there, like, doing the sweet buttery words, like how Zeba mentioned.
mhm,
But having some sort of rules or guidelines before using, these kind of chatbots
mhm,
should be made pretty public, or have it like like a tab beside in the chatbot saying like, hey, these are the guidelines, try to use it. That might be useful for you. You can mention it, like how you have that eye symbol beside things. You can have something like a tool like that. People
mhm,
can understand the guidelines. That's the thing that you mentioned, which is actually good. I think we can integrate it into chatbot like this.
mhm.
um, that's great. Thank you, Sandrine. What about Divisha? Like, what are your thoughts? We have been waiting to hear from you.
So, of course, replacing real human interaction with AI can definitely weaken the social bonds and the emotional role that we have when we interact with any human outside the machine. So, and human relationships are like emotional, they are unpredictable. So, these are actually like very much essential for developing oneself. So being a college student, I was always around with my friends. But now then that I'm working, I can see that most of my friends are moving out to different cities for their new jobs, or they are just shifting back to their families. So we should have like communities like this who can discuss about what is correct and what is wrong. They can draw the line between where we should stop using chatbot and where we should start connecting with human beings. So that's what even I have started, because from morning 9 to 10, I would say, I was just working on my machine. I was just doing coding and everything. So now I started to go into different communities and interact with people, so that I'll be understanding how to use AI and how to manage my emotions.
That's great.
100%.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on, right? Something that Zeba said, and a lot of you are touched on. It's very easy to kind of get straight to, what these chatbots tell us with the flattery. And of course, there is also stigma, and sometimes some things are so private where we don't feel comfortable telling a human what will they think. People go and talk to these bots. And that's where I feel like the awareness becomes key, right? That at the end of the day, these are pattern recognition machines. They have been trained to give us specific answers or generate information based on what they were trained on, right? So they are not human. They cannot replace human. And I know we are kind of, getting close to time, but to just give you one example. I had gone to eat at a restaurant several months ago, and with my family, and it was a Japanese restaurant, and we had a robo server that came and served food to us. My son was very fascinated that, oh, we have a robot who came to give food. And usually I have a great time at the restaurant, but that day I felt something was really off. And as I went back home, and I thought to myself, like, what was it? And I realized that I'm so used to of being attended by a server who comes and asks me, "Hi, how are you? How was your meal?" And have a chit chat. And that's what makes the experience really special for me. Yes, certain things can be, be used with a chatbot to fill the gap that you said, Supriya, but they cannot be a replacement for humans. Absolutely not.
I agree. No, I agree with you on that. But there is one thing, one thought for me, as a, you know, um, uh, like, see, having like, take my mom or my grandmom, if they have like a chatbot, if they want to get something or ask something, they go it anyway because they just want the answers, right?
Yeah.
They just want to share, they want the answers. That is how it is for majority of the folks right now. Be it my sisters who are studying for exam, they share all the information. Their personal things, maybe I don't know about that, but the awareness is there with tech folks who are actually working with
Tech
LLMs,
folks.
and who know how LLMs work. The point is, how do we spread the awareness, right? One way is to have it on the chatbot, saying that, hey, you know what? These things can be used for retraining, but will the enterprises do it? That is something that we have to push. So that's where I think like we have to push and make it aware. The other
Mandatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mandatory, make it mandatory,
Yeah.
right? The other thing is there are there are news about physical embodied AI, which means that you have it on your device. Let's say, for example, a tiny LLM which can reside on your phone, laptop, or anything like that. It uses that whatever it was trained on till then, but then it can help you in whatever way you want. Let's say, for example, we have a therapist AI, right? Like you build a chatbot which is more like a therapist. It is not training on your data, but it has already trained on, which means that you can overcome this particular issue of safety and privacy, at the same time help people with their needs who can't go for a therapist. So that's just what I wanted to.
No, that was great. Zeba, you are up next, and I know we are at 8:50. We may not be able to get to all the questions, so we'll actually have to go back after Zeba, you are done.
Okay. Something I was gonna say is very similar to what Supriya said, is like therapy trained chatbots, which is very true. There are a lot of startups where I've been reading about that they are actually working with data from therapy sessions or actual experts in the field. And I feel, I know we cannot um we cannot sort of argue the accessibility of chatbots, but one thing we can do is redirect that energy from chatbots which are not made for this purpose to chatbots who are actually who are made for this purpose, where they are actually focused on protecting your data, which are written by startups and things like that, which are actually focused on who have studied therapy data, studied how human psychology works. And I think one of the things we can do is redirecting that thing for a time being. Obviously, not replacing human connection, even though these chatbots exist. But one thing I think which will be useful is on that. And the second thing I wanted to say is regulations is a big part of all these things because it actually comes in the whole healthcare sector when it comes to mental health and using chatbots and AI on those ends. So I think I know there's a whole thing about rules and regulations not catching up with the AI development that's happening in today's time, but I think that's one of the key things that will come into play when it comes to healthcare and AI. So
100%. No, thank you. And I'm just waiting either for the administration to change or, I mean, the regulations to really kind of catch up. Oh my God, I should not be talking about this stuff. It's being recorded. So, anyways, let's go back and let's share our findings with everybody. See you there.
Thank you.
yeah. Bye.
Okay, Padmini.
Right, we are back. Other folks are coming back. So,
Some interesting discussions.
yes, how about group one first? Why don't you tell us? Who's your
So we just,
spokesperson?
yeah, no, yeah. Shri, go for it. Become our spokesperson. Alan, all right.
I could just give my thoughts and my feedback. I learned a lot about data and how data is used, misused, what is public, what's not, should we have the right, who owns the data. I learned a lot. I've been data conscious since before AI came around, and I just learned a lot about how much more we have to do. I'm really into like self-hosting and trying to maintain as much data to myself as I can. And I just realized that there's even a whole lot more I need to be working on before I could even, AI just made it way worse.
And I think I like what she also said was, while we may want to own our data, the companies own the inference
Yes.
from the data. So data is anonymized, and then the company can infer from that, and that inference is because it's anonymized data, you are not out in the open kind of, and it owns it. So I think that's a great distinction between data and inference, and we should really think through and understand that. So that was one. The right to delete, yes, we'd all love the right to delete, but at the moment I don't think that actually happens. Where there is model unlearning that we know of, like besides machine learning, there's machine unlearning. But can we specifically identify our data to be unlearned? I don't know if that is ever going to happen. I mean, we can't be naive about it. So yeah, that's not going to happen. So over to you guys, room 2, go for it.
All right, who's our spokesperson?
I can do it since I took
Yes.
so many notes.
Amazing. Go ahead, Sita.
So I think I would like to organize this into 2 parts. One is our topic was emotional dependence and human connection, and how that relates with AI in today's world. So why AI is giving good impression of being your therapist or your emotional support device. First is easy accessibility. Therapy is expensive. Talking to your friends when they are busy, it is tough getting in touch with them. So I think AI comes in a very cheap alternative, always accessible to you as an option, which obviously sort of convinces a lot of people in using it as an emotional support thing. Second is introverts or people who are more comfortable in expressing their emotions and things in silence. They are more comfortable with using AI in compared to extroverts or someone who just like go and talk to anyone and they can openly discuss things. Third was issue with this is you can develop a codependency very quick on these things. You can go dependent. You can go like, I don't want to talk to my husband. I don't want to talk to my friend. I know AI is there. Why should I disturb him when he's like having his own schedule and things like that? Third is the sycophancy and the empathetic way of AI talking to us. AI is very flattering. It will always compliment us. And while it looks very nice on the surface and it makes us feel nice, it is a math model who is obviously gonna flatter you. And it's not actually empathetic by nature like us humans are. And third is day by day, AI is gonna come to our devices. We already have all the apps on our phones. I have apps on my MacBook. I have apps on my phone, and it's the accessibility is even getting better day by day. So it becomes very easy and very like tempting to use AI as your emotional support thing. But there are a lot of issues and ifs and buts when it comes to this. And what we discussed was what are some alternate things that we can focus on when it comes to talking and using AI in those things. First was to make people aware about the consequences of discussing with AI. Like there should be some explicit warning coming up when you log into ChatGPT that this is not an emotional support chatbot. You please don't talk about this. This is not an entitled therapist where you come and just ramble on. It is not certified to give you advice on healthcare, especially mental health stuff. Second was make it mandatory of not utilizing our data or talking about mental health and things like that. Third was while OpenAI and those chatbots are not equipped with this type of a task, there are specific chatbots which are trained on actual therapy data, which are focused on protection of your data. And we can redirect that energy which are going to these big vendors, big chatbots, to something which is actually there to be used in this particular circumstance. So maybe we can redirect that energy towards actual therapy chatbots. And fourth was rules and regulations can catch up with AI and help healthcare and AI be a better like
Yeah.
combination and can support each other in a better way to make it helpful and actually safe for us to use. But yeah, that's my
My, that, amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Seema. The thing is, I just feel I know we have 3 minutes and then we have to stop. Um, the thing is, we are discussing all this right now because we are seeing the advent and the the um, adoption of AI. But 50 years from now, 80 years, 100 years from now, the kids are born into this AI world. For them, it is just normal to have that. And we don't know how that is going to shape their thinking then. Because now, if you look at kids now, it's so easy for them to, they expect internet. I mean, I grew up when there was no internet. And, now, and there are people who've grown up with, they expect the internet to be there. So AI is going to become as sort of native or, expected. And I wonder how that world will be
That's why
where,
it needs to be shaped properly, right? That's
yeah,
why we need to have these pointed conversations, right? Because if we don't
absolutely.
shape AI, AI is going to shape us and the
Hmm.
generations to come.
I'll
So,
just I'll just add to it that, as in schools, we do provide drug and, sex educations and things like that. I think it's very, very imperative for the education system to include AI, um, AI, the do's and don'ts of AI,
literacy. Yeah.
Responsible AI
right
use.
from elementary schools.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's a push for K through 12 to sort of have
The
that, but
executive
how,
order.
yeah, if the executive order is there
You'll
for
be
that.
surprised, Padmini. So, even though the executive order came out in April, and my son has access to all these tools because the school has made it available. But when we talk to some of the kids, they didn't have the literacy, right? So that's
Yeah,
when Padmini and I had done like a summer camp because we were trying to do some research, and the learnings were quite interesting. So even though the school had made these tools available, they had done some basic, do's and don'ts, but they didn't fully understand the implications, right? So
There
it's
you
a
go, idea for a startup.
yes, let's
And,
go.
yeah. And we think of this all from our context here sitting in the US, right? But if we transport ourselves to like a different country, like say a village in India,
Uh,
people are using it. Do they even know what they're putting into these
They don't
chatbots?
even
They have
know
no
how their
clue.
data is being used. There is no awareness, and that
So
is,
just
worrisome.
frightening. Yeah.
But we are at
But
9
on that,
o'clock.
man, this was so we can go on for another hour,
I
Seema. So,
know, but with that,
but
we
I
have a
was
hard
literally
stop
thinking
today.
the same.
yeah,
Yeah, we have a hard stop, but thank you so much. This was a great discussion, and we really enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it as well. And stay tuned for more events. We have an amazing speaker coming up on
November
November
24th.
24th, and this is something around how do you maintain your voice in the age of AI? What is it, Padmini, exactly? What is the topic?
No, I forget the topic, but how do you make sure like your voice is not used for training? How it's not just your voice in, to have a say, but how your voice being used by, LLMs and all that. So it's I forget the name of the topic. We'll post it.
Yes,
And
but she's basically like an
she's
expert in the
amazing.
space. She is
Yeah, voice.
amazing. She's like a voice artist. So you have
Yeah.
to come to that session. It's going to be amazing. But with that, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you around. And
Thank you so much. Bye, you guys.
Thank
bye.
you.